Peace and blessings. I am Regina, and welcome to my happy place, Diva G's Reborns. We are here in the series for our baby Maggie. Here is our baby Maggie, and we will be applying some blue in strategic areas on our baby doll Maggie, on our reborn doll Maggie. So this is blue wash, and I'm just stirring the blue wash up, and I'm going to go in strategic areas on our baby Maggie. I'm using the Christina Woolies hairbrush. Although it can't paint hairbrush, although it can be used for pretty much anywhere you'd like to have a thin line. Oh, and my manicure, as many of you know, I do create press-on nails, and these are my very own creation. I do have another YouTube channel that I do some YouTube videos on my nail content, and I do have some shorts on this channel with some of my with some of the nail things that I do. Now we are going to go in certain places around on her eyes, kind of like the inner corner of her eyes, where that is an area that may have a little bit of thin skin. And we'll just kind of tap that out just a little bit. And most of everything that we do is subtle, so you won't see it, in a sense, glaring at you. However, you will get an impression of it as an undertone. And that's what we want, the impression of an undertone. Now, again, our Maggie has very expressive features, and if we are not careful, we can make her look angry. However, I want her features to be soft and feminine. So we are going to just place the blue very strategically in different places to add what I feel will be some softness. Now the thing with the Maggie kit, the way she is sculpted, there are, she is not necessarily, there isn't a uniformity in all of her features. And that's okay, because that's actually how human beings are. We don't have complete uniformity. Now you can look at this eye. This eye appears to be a little bit larger than this one. So it's kind of set just a little bit different, and that's okay. But we will monitor that and make adjustments to how we apply our paint for her. So I'm placing this blue again in areas that I think would be somewhat flattering. I don't usually do the blue directly all the way across the nose area. I'm just going to kind of put it in strategic places, just on kind of slightly tapped in a little bit on the bridge, the nose bridge, but I don't go all the way across. Now, where else might I want the blue? Now, the blue gives the impression of thin skin. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go at the corner of somewhere on her eyes, because she has these kind of eye bag folds. So I want to make those look thin. And it's going to be rather interesting to see, because we do our mid-face highlight. So with the mid-face highlight, this blue is going to, I think, look very nice in there. I'm just kind of making a little bit of an assessment. Although I normally don't do blue across the face, I am just going to put just a small amount on her, actually because of her features. So I think it probably will look nice. You know, each kit, you do have to, I do make individual adjustments to what I feel would be a good idea. Now I'm putting in this blue in the mouth where it appears that she has a tongue. And the beauty of this Christina Woolly brush is that the bristles stay together, which is very helpful when you are going into small areas. Now, because the blue gives the appearance of thin skin, the impression of thin skin, I'm going to go across the milk blister and different areas on the lips to create the appearance of thin skin. I think that would be flattering. So I'm doing the upper and the lower lip. I don't know, I think you can see what I'm doing. I think you can. Then we will just kind of tap it a little bit. I'm going to put a little bit in the middle of the Cupid's bow. And since it's your art, whatever in a sense that you do, it's your art. It's what you do. I'm putting a little bit in the nose. It also kind of, depending on where the blue is placed under or over colors, it can give a nice shadow. As you can see in the nose, there's a bit of a shadow. You can see in the mouth, there's a little bit of shadow. Now on the ears, I want to give the impression of some thin skin. So I'm going around quite a portion of the ear on part of the cartilage. And see, just a little, appears to be a piece of little hair. So let me moisten a toothpick, just kind of lay it over it so that it loosens it up. Okay, it's nice and loose. And then that will afford me the ability to lift it up with the Q-tip. Not the Q-tip, with the toothpick. Okay. Now we are still going forth with areas that we want to give a little bit of a thin look. Okay. And we'll go with the other ear as well. Excuse me. I think that's about all where I'm going to put the blue on her face. One more area. I think one more area. Okay, and on her hands, excuse me, one of the areas on the hand that we oftentimes do is what appears to be this triangle area in the hand. I'm putting it there. And I think that might be, I'm gonna put just a little bit, where else do I want to put it? On this hand, do I want to put anywhere on this hand? I'm gonna place just a little bit there. A little bit here. And the thing about it is, after you do your kit and you look at it, you may like where you've made these different little changes, or you may want to change that, and that's fine. Now on the foot, I'm going in this little area under the toes. Okay, kind of like at the base of the toes. That might have a little look of a little bit of thinness. Okay. And then the strategic area on the foot kind of like this little area, and I like to bring it out to the lateral part of the heel, excuse me, the lateral part of the foot, because it enhances where I have put the veins. So I like that. And I'm going to put a little blue out here. And the other hand. And I'm going to go strategically inside here. Get a little bit of blue in there, because it will be challenging to see a triangle in there, but they're often around in here would be a little bit of the blue that you would see. And that's what I'm doing. I'm also putting it around, a little bit around the fingers, because if you press your hand down on your palm, you would see that you get a little bit of a paleness right there where your fingers are pressed down on the palm. So I'm going to see if I can mimic that. These little details that you take your time with, after, you know, there are certain aspects of the kit, you will then begin to see that little bit that you did in taking your time with these types of little areas. You'll see that it makes a bit of a difference in some of the appearance of possibly a bit of realism. Now let's take a look at the foot. Okay, we're going to go on the underside, the toes, certain areas of the toes that might have some of the blue. Although there will be parts that will have red, but there are some that will have blue. Like that. I got that on there, but okay. And what can happen is, if you have some things that you have done on one kit and you like the way it came out or turned out, it might be something that you might do on another kit because you liked it. Then I like challenging myself in different ways with what I'm doing. So I do things, there are some things that I kind of do the same with each kit, and then there may be things that I do slightly different because I want to see different aspects what something may look like. And the way that I'll know is if I try it. Because the interesting thing about it, everything that I'm doing is just art. It's subjective. And whatever it is that I'm doing, it's not something that's gonna, have this major impact in the world and the things that are going on in the world. So I don't have to feel like, oh my goodness, I did this. Oh, what? I don't have to feel that way. It's art. So I'm going different places on the belly plate that I think I want to place some areas that may benefit from the blue. So I'm just placing that. Okay. Trying to think where else might blue look good on the kit here. I don't think that there's too many places that I want to put blue on the torso. I may have to freshen it up a bit as we continue painting. Because we still have our flesh layers that we have to apply. Okay, so I think for now that's all of the blue that I want to use. I'm gonna put the blue, cover the blue up, put the blue away. I see a little dot on Maggie's nose. Let's get that little bit of, looks like stray, maybe a stray paint mark. Okay. All right. That looks good. Now I believe we are ready to apply some skin tone layers. Now we went over with the foundation layer, which we used our color that we call nutmeg, and I think we're going to go over with our medium brown. My burnt umber is quite nice, but I think I'm going to go over with the brown, and I need to make more brown. So we'll get to see me make the brown. Yeah, I think I like the way she is coming. She's coming along quite nicely. Quite nicely. Let me pause while I get the paints together. Okay, so we have just only a little bit in here. So I'm going to add a few drops. And I run out of the brown because this is a color. These are colors that I use regularly with my dolls, so I can run out fairly regular with them. Just take off this little bit of excess that's on the top of this this bottle. So I'm gonna just put 3 drops or so.
Serious XM.
A little goes a long way. Golden satin glaze. I'm going to put maybe 3 drops of that as well. Actually, that was 4, which is fine. And I need my Liquitex. Okay. I'm going to take about a teaspoon's worth. I don't know if you can kind of see. About a teaspoon's worth. And now I'm going to mix it up together. Mix this up together, and then I'm going to add my water, my distilled water and wetting agent. And the consistency that I want it to be afterwards is going to be like a bit like whole milk. So I want to kind of mix all of this up together where there aren't any streaks. Okay, now I'm going to add my water mixture. This is a 1 in 10% of the wetting agent, which is from Golden, and distilled water. So it's 1 in 10. 10% of the wetting agent, and then it's going to be 90% of distilled water. So first I'm going to put just a couple of squirts, maybe 3 squirts, just to kind of get it going. And just to see, just to get it going a little bit. Okay, you see. Now that's definitely thicker than milk, which is fine. We just want to start. That's all we want. We just want to get a start. A little bit more wetting agent. And what I will do is I'm going to add a little bit more of the Liquitex Ultra Matte Gel. And I'm going to go in with just a little bit more of the distilled water as well. The distilled water mix. So I'm putting more Ultra Matte Gel because I want it to go a little bit further. you can, it makes it nice and creamy, and then you can kind of mix the other agents in as well. Okay. Now I didn't add any more of the actual brown color. We're still working along with those, that amount that we started with, those drops that we started with. I'm going to put in just a little bit of the satin glaze and a little bit more. And then I'm going to stir that and then add the water mixture. Let's see. And the consistency is quite thick. It's kind of like pudding. So now I want to add more water, just the water mixture. Okay, a little bit more. Again, because we want it to be the consistency of kind of like whole milk. Okay. I like the color, and I like the way the consistency is. This is essentially the way of mixing, you know, the paints, pretty much any of the colors. Some maybe a little bit less of the actual color, and because if you're going to create a wash, that's going to be a slightly different mix. And so, but yeah. So now I want to kind of get everything out of the brush without wasting anything. Kind of squeezing it on the sides. Getting it all off as best as I can, and then I'm dipping it in, and you can see. Now what I am going to do is going to put away other. Okay, so we're going to start with the back of the head. I'm just kind of wetting my brush in some distilled water. And I'm going to go around just to stir it. And then to take the paint off the brush a little bit, squeeze it out on the side. Then I'm going to take my Maggie head. What's the matter, Muffin? And then I'm going to go across. I like that consistency. I'm going behind the ears. And I'm going up just beyond the ears. Okay. And then, what's the matter, Muffin? What's wrong? And then I'm going to take my sponge and pounce. What's the matter, baby? Hmm? What's the matter? Hmm? What's the matter, Muffin? And this sponge I ripped in half and kind of just ripped off some of the other parts of the edges. And that, of course, creates a little bit of a texture. Now I'm going the other part of the head, going up to like the front part of the ears. Okay. And remember, our layers are thin. Our layers are thin and they add subtle color, creating depth. Take my mop brush. This kind of helps to get in those little places so that you don't have pooling. Kind of smooths things out nicely. Then you can also use a kabuki. I do have a kabuki. It came along with the Ultimate Fusion starter set. I used the kabuki. Hmm. I used it on the first few dolls, and I prefer to use other types of brushes when I want to blend. So now I'm going around the face, the sides of the face. Now we went around, and I love this brush set that I won. Um, it's a very nice brush set. Now I'm not going over the lips with this color. If I decide I want to go over it later with this color, I can. However, at this moment, I don't want to. Um, yeah, I don't want to. So I'm going to just kind of another sponge, and then I'm going to pounce. This sponge is moistened and with distilled water. And this particular sponge I just ripped in half, so it does have the this bit of texture look to it. So the texture that is going to be on the face is going to be even. It's not going to have, you know, the uneven look in the sense of the other sponge that I started with, that I showed you, because the face, you see that lovely texture on the face? See? So we are going around and around with this. I'm going to pounce around and to see. Okay. A few days back, I watched this thriller called what was it called? Breakout? No, Break In, and it was with Gabrielle Union, and it was really a nice suspense thriller movie. It really was. I like those types of movies as well. What are some of your favorite kind of movies, genres, and what is your favorite movie? One of my favorite movies of all time is Dirty Dancing. I know I've mentioned before that I really enjoy Patrick Swayze and that movie. And I really enjoy Ghost too, because he's in that movie. And the storyline with both of those movies is quite, you know, in a sense, it's quite realistic, you know. And well, Ghost, depending on what your beliefs are, but you know, very, you know, very interesting. It, you know, it was. The thing about the movie Ghost, and the reason why I say, you know, realistic, is, as many of you know, I'm a registered nurse. I'm retired now. However, when I was working, one of the areas that I did work was med-surg oncology and hospice. And in the med-surg oncology area, you know, some of my patients um, transitioned, you know, and it was very interesting to see it, you know, different ways, different experiences that they had, different things that they apparently were seeing during that time. And so there are things that make me kind of do believe in certain aspects, certain things. And definitely working hospice um, as a nurse manager in hospice, and seeing and dealing with a lot of different things and what patients would see and say, and you know, the different studies that, you know, we had to do. um, so it's very interesting, you know, and being with both of my parents, um, seeing and hearing different things and having certain conversations with them. So, yeah. And then, it's just very interesting. Very, very interesting, you know. Has anyone else had any types of experiences that, or have any comments about that? There are so many there are different things that are unknown, and we have our beliefs about things. And, sometimes when you've experienced certain things that are inexplicable, it's a whole other kind of different thing. This gives such a pretty skin texture. Such a pretty skin texture. Just really lovely. I like that. I like that. I like that. Okay. What happened to my toothpick? Where did my... Okay, let's just take it. Because I see what appears to be hair that maybe came off of this brush that I'm using. Yeah, has to be. Has to be. Has to be. Has to be. But we don't want that hair on our kit. Alright, we don't want the hair on our kit. So as soon as we see something that maybe needs to be removed, we try to remove that right away. One of the things about mixing the mediums with the paint, especially the Liquitex and the Satin Glaze, it makes the consistency of the paint, in a sense, creamy and very spreadable. Makes it quite nice, quite nice, quite nice. Now I want to make sure there's no pooling anywheres. And okay. We see we're getting a little bit color here. A little bit of color. Some nice color. I don't know why that brush seems like it's depositing hair on my kit. I may have to abandon using it. I do like the color of the way it gets, what it does with the paint and clearing out the creases. But I don't know if it's applying hair. I don't know. I might have to abandon using it. See, the kabuki would work doing kind of similar, but it doesn't get into the creases because it's firmer. Whereas this brush is a mop brush, so it can kind of get into the creases. So what I am going to do, I'm going to pause and do some painting and come back. And painting the torso. Okay, I am back and we can paint some layers together as I did two layers off camera, and we will go ahead and do a layer together. We'll do the head, one arm, one leg, and the torso together. I hope you are enjoying this series and that you are looking at even some of the other videos that we have. Like I said before on other videos, this is somewhat of a diary for myself with my journey of reborning dolls. I began first as a collector a number of years ago, and I first collected a doll from Ashton Drake, and I named her Ebony. And I still have Ebony, and she is adorable. And I did some videos with her. I began this channel with her. And I then had purchased a doll, a reborn doll from Kimberly of Kimberly's Cocoon. A wonderful, wonderful artist. She's no longer active, but she was a wonderful artist. My first reborn doll was Serenity by Laura Lee Eagles. And of course, this is a long sold out kit. And I purchased the kit because she was painting. I purchased the doll because she was painting the doll online. And when I looked at the doll, she looked like my dad's mom, whom I never met because she passed when he was 16. And I never met her, but the doll kind of resembled her, put me in the mind of her. And I had a cousin, Rosie, and she passed as an adult. And the doll looked like, put me in the mind of her as well, because that was the same side of the family, my paternal side of the family. So when Serenity Rose is a newborn size doll, and when I got her home, OMG, she looked like my family members, like I said. So I named her Serenity Rose because she is a very peaceful baby. And I added the rose because after my cousin who passed away, so her name is Serenity Rose. And of course, I still have her. She is another one of my forever babies. And immediately right after her, I commissioned Kimberly's of Kimberly's Cocoon to make a custom for me. And that custom is another long soul out kit, Eleanor Ann by Laura Tuso Ross. And she is a beautiful newborn sized doll as well. And yes, I still have her and I love her. And Kimberly of Kimberly's Cocoon wrote a beautiful birthing story for my darling Eleanor Ann, who I named Alia Nagosi. And Nagosi is a Nigerian name that Kimberly gave her, and I use as a middle name. So I use Alia as the first name and Nagosi as the middle name. And she is a beautiful newborn sized doll. I sent with her to Kimberly human hair. So she rooted her with human hair. As my first doll, she rooted with mohair because she was, just painting the doll online beautifully. And I fell in love, and I love her work. And so I did commission her to do my custom, and I'm very honored that she did do the custom because that was not something that she frequently, really would do. So, although it was a custom, the only thing that was really, well, the part that was custom was I asked her would she do that particular kit for me. And I sent her the hair, and she is an awake baby. So Kimberly asked me what color eyes did I want. And so I told her. So, yeah, so I have her, and she is another of my forever babies, especially because Kimberly is no longer actively reborning, and she also crocheted, and I had her crochet some baby bonnets, and I have the box openings on my channel. They're early on in my channel, and yeah. So it's just so wonderful remembering and just thinking. And back then, I wanted to paint as well, but there was a lot of things that were going on. Um, I physically um, wasn't wasn't well, and I talk about that also early in my channel. And so I did not have the opportunity to really do any of that. And then a little bit afterwards, my parents, they became ill, and so there was no time, to do any painting then. And then, of course, um, then shortly, then a little bit after I was moved in and I was taking care of my parents. And then they both transitioned. So that was not a time to paint either, as I was extremely close to both of my parents. Extremely, extremely close. And so that was not a time then either. So it's been a couple of years, and now I have the opportunity to focus on being able to reborn. And I'm enjoying it. I'm definitely enjoying it. I'm definitely enjoying it. You know, when you're doing the hands, sometimes there's, well, not sometimes, there's certain detail work that definitely goes into the hands. And so I'm focusing on that and being certain that I'm fading and doing a certain amount of blending on the lateral aspects of the hands and the fingers. So I'm just going around. I think our baby Maggie kind of wants to be, I guess, on the medium light side. I think that's what she's telling me. We're going to continue painting and seeing where she takes us. Because initially, when I started painting her, I didn't have any idea what her complexion would be. And sometimes I know ahead of time, and sometimes it comes to me while painting. Our baby Ginger, I started painting her, and I wanted her to have that deep, deep, deep chocolate complexion. And I was grateful that I was able to achieve that. And then the other doll, that complexion, I went into making the doll and I had the idea of the complexion, was baby Alyssa, who has the albinism. So, yes, so those were definitely the two that their complexions I knew ahead of time. Now we're going to do this foot and leg, and because I want to, you know, I'm doing the feathering of the blend, and I think that might be somewhat interesting to see, although my camera may not be showing it as great as I would like it to, because I'm actually filming, for those who maybe don't already know, I'm filming from my laptop. So what I do is I kind of angle it downwards so that you can see what it is that I'm doing as best as I can, you know, angle it. So that's why you're not maybe seeing a little bit more. And I can do overhead with my phone, and I have done that a little bit in the past. The only thing with that is, as many of you know, I don't have much storage space on my phone. So I've been looking to, I purchased a, what do you call it, a memory uh, flash drive for my phone a while back, but it didn't have much of anything on its space. So that didn't, you know, do me much good at all. And I was looking to purchase a flash drive for my phone that had maybe like, was like 1 terabyte, and can't seem to find that. Was if I'm going to get a flash drive, I want it to effective, you know, to be effective to move the things that I wanted to move, because I have a lot of videos and pictures, and I guess I'm kind of like a little bit of a hoarder in that sense. I have a lot on there. So, yeah, so I can't even say, oh, well, I'm going to delete this, or because there are things that I have deleted. This is true. But there are things that, oh, I just can't delete. Oh, I can't delete them. So I need to be able to fully move them. I want to move them onto the flash drive. Now, I guess, I'm thinking, it's just coming to me just now, I maybe could move them, I maybe could move some of the content from my phone directly onto my laptop. And then once it's on the laptop, maybe I could move it to my flash drive. I don't know, that might be a possibility. Might be. I have to maybe look into doing that, checking that out. I am not a tech person. I am not a tech person. But there are things that I do. Um, like every morning, um, 5:30, actually 6 a.m. Eastern Standard, I facilitate a um, religious reading call. So I do that every day, and I really enjoy that. I've been doing that every day for the last almost 7 years, and I've had to learn a little, some technological things because of that. So, yeah. So now I'm just pouncing with this mop brush. I want to say Maxine mop brush because, as I mentioned years ago, I mentioned on another video years ago, when I first joined into the Reborn community, Annette from Miracle Reborns, an Aussie Reborns, um, she has and still does have a number of, she has a Reborn store, and she would always talk about the brush, the Maxine mop. So whenever I see a brush like this, that's what I always think of. the Maxine mop brush that Annette from Ozzy Reborn's Miracle Reborns. She's in Australia. Um, would say, interestingly enough, way back then, I purchased some dry paint, air dry reborn paint from her, and I reached out to her recently to ask her if it would still be good because, it's been a number of years. And she said it's good as long as it's still, liquid and that I could use it. So I'm thinking, wow, I'm going to try and use it because it has, of course, all of the colors that I would like, and it's air dry, so it works, the same way as the Ultimate Fusion. And since I did pay for it, I may as well use it, get some use out of it, right? Especially since it is still good. So let's see, make sure that I'm not gonna get flagged because this belly plate is anatomically correct, so I don't want to get flagged. When I did Canon and I gave him a belly plate, I mean, this is a torso I'm doing, but when I did Baby Canon, I did a belly plate with him, and YouTube, I uploaded a video, and they, said that they had to look into it because, it may have violated, community guidelines or something. And, you know, of course, obviously, I had to wait for them, but I was like, it's an art doll. The doll, it's not, and I wasn't really like showing anything really majorly, but yeah. So, but they reviewed it like immediately, and you know, they then said that it was okay because I guess they realized, oh, it's a reborning channel. She's just painting. She's not doing anything wrong. So, yeah. So, but I am being mindful as well as with doing this torso, although I was mindful with doing the belly plate for Baby Cannon, you know. Now, Cannon is a real born from Bountiful Baby, and his kit does not come with a belly plate. But I wanted to make a belly plate for him, so I did. And it came out quite nice, quite nice. So, yeah. So, I enjoy to a certain degree creating painting the belly plates and the torsos. It's just another aspect or of reborning to me, another technique of painting. And because when you're painting those, there's certain things obviously that you have to create a certain amount of possibly realism to that. And so I find it interesting to be able to do. And you know, but it's not like I wanted to look, you know, do any, like I say, oh, you look at inspirational pictures and stuff. Well, it's not like I wanted to be doing a whole lot of looking for baby baby parts in that way because I didn't want, so yeah, but his belly plate looks very nice. And not because I say so, but because I've been told so. um and I'm hoping that our Maggie, that her torso and the rest of her looks, will look very nice. I do have another doll that has a torso to reborn, and I have our toddler June, 3 years old, to reborn, and I have baby Onyx that I need to root. So I'm thinking that I will probably go ahead and map baby Onyx, map her out, and then begin to root her. Because I would like to have her rooted before I begin to root Maggie. And I do have customs that, to do. And I want to have the opportunity to focus properly on the customs. So, yeah. I know this video is a bit long, but I did want to go into as well showing some of the painting actually of the limbs and the torso. And so I thought that would be interesting to see. Did I not do extra on her? No, I'm going to do another video and do her detailing. But there is something that I did want to show you. And let's see, where is it? Diva G's Reborns. Would you like to have one of your own reborns from Diva G? They are available for adoption individually or together. We offer convenient layaway or immediate purchase. Just take a look at these beautiful, beautiful reborns that we have made at Diva G's Reborns. Come on by and see what it is that we have going on. Diva G's Reborns. Take advantage of our layaway or purchase. Diva G's Reborns. Peace and blessings. Diva G's Reborns. That is a short that I created showing off some of the creations here at Diva G's Reborns. I would hope that you would take a look at the shorts and the other videos and reach out to us if there's something that you would like or if you have a question. We do offer layaway or immediate purchase. So please do take a look and reach out. Please do like, share, and comment. Share our videos and our shorts with others. You never know who might be interested. Once again, thank you so much. And I would just like to do a brief shout out to Karen of Making Reborn Dolls with Karen. I think I said her name, her channel name, incorrectly in a previous video. So I do apologize, but her name, her video channel is Making Reborn Dolls with Karen. And she has a wonderful, wonderful channel. And I would encourage you to go over to her channel and to see what it is that she is doing there. She happens to be a heat set artist. However, the techniques and the tips and the tricks that she shares, many can be used with airborne paints. Um, as well as she has some wonderful stories that she tells as well. So I do think that you would like her channel, and do stop by her channel. Give her a like and a like and a follow, and subscribe to her. Today is January the 17th, and she has a contest drawing that will be that she will be doing the drawing on tomorrow, which is Monday, January the 18th. I'm not certain what time she'll be doing it, but I think she usually kind of does it in the morning. So do set your notifications, not just for my channel, but for her channel as well. And you can see what's going on with her giveaway. And she's so inspirational, as are others like Adawan's Art Dolls, Aleen, with these giveaways. It's inspiring me to want to do a giveaway. I just have to come up with some good ideas. So please do like, comment, subscribe, and share. Come back real soon. Enjoy your day. Peace and blessings.